Stop the presses from false alarm. Do not print that story. Do not write that story. They are not married. They are not married. Let me explain.
F around and find out. F around and find out. F around and find out.
Well, hello, everybody. This is stressful. My name is Elsie. I'm your host. And if I could put the mic to my chest, I would have you feel my heartbeat because when I read some of the comments that I received, let me tell you, heart palpitations because I said, what? This is crazy. How did we not notice this? Why am I talking about NPR again? So, a lot of people didn't realize, but some of you did. The host of the interview we listened to in the last video was Ari Shapiro, who works for NPR, who was interviewing Megan Twohey. Now, I want to tell you something, how panicked I am, because I'm going to show you, I don't know if you can see on here, it is Monday, June 23rd, but it says 3:34 a.m. It is 3:34 a.m. I woke up out of a cold sweat because I'm like, this is crazy information. I cannot have this lingering in the ether because people are going to really wake up believing this and then people are going to talk about it more and then it's going to become a thing. So I'm trying to put a pause on it before it becomes a thing too much. As crazy as the coincidences, it's quite unbelievable. So Ari Emanuel. There's so many Aris and Mikes and Gottliebs in this position. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Ari Shapiro, who interviewed Megan Twohey, the interview we listened to yesterday about Blake Lively saying, the smear campaign was more sinister than her actual SH claims, right? Whew, it's a lot. So I received a bunch of these comments. I just only took these two screenshots so this one says, Ari Shapiro is the husband of Gottlieb, Blake's lawyer. Just saying. I said, what? Someone actually sent a comment earlier in the day and I read that and I said, huh? And I was like, they're tripping. What are they talking about? The other one was this one. They just kept coming in and I was like, hold up. This says, Elsie, this interview had several red flags. Ari Shapiro's husband is my Gottlieb. Talk about media manipulation. And I said, there is just no way on God's green earth that Ari Shapiro interviewing Megan Twohey is married to, what's his face? My Gottlieb, Blake's lawyer. So this is Michael Gottlieb, Blake Lively's lawyer, right? This man right here. This is Michael Gottlieb. I don't know if this is a good enough, image for you guys to see. I think you get the gist. This was so stressful because I'm like, there was no way. And I know there's no way, but it's still kind of baffling to me. So this is Blake's lawyer. Now, the reason the confusion comes about is because I ended up finding this immediately. I went into research mode. I'm like, what are these people talking about? So I Googled Ari Shapiro, which turned into me getting to Ari Shapiro's spouse, who happened to be Michael Gottlieb. But people, the Michael Gottlieb that's married to Ari Shapiro is not the Michael Gottlieb that's defending Blake Lively as like her lawyer. So this is Ari Shapiro right here, first picture. If you go down further, that is Ari Shapiro and Michael Gottlieb, husband. Not the same person defending Blake. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick. This is the husband that's married to Ari Shapiro. Again, it was a little confusing because, when I was doing my research, it says senior partner, managing partner. I'm like, it's giving lawyer vibes. But then, the further down you go, it's not the same man. So this is my Gottlieb that is married to Ari Shapiro, not my Gottlieb that's defending Blake Lively. Now, it's not lost on me that his name is my Gottlieb. And it would lead anybody to, come to the conclusion that everybody came to. But I just want to make it very clear and we can stop this spread of disinformation right here. It doesn't go any further because Blake Lively is going to find a way to turn this into something it doesn't need to be. It's an understandable mistake. It's an understandable destination for somebody to arrive. Because, how many Mike Gottliebs are walking around the world? I had never even heard of the last name Gottlieb until all of this started. This is their wedding picture right here. Not the same man. So again, this Mike Gottlieb right here is who is Blake Lively's lawyer. So I figured while I was making this video, it gave me a chance to cover a couple of things that came up in the comments and people were asking throughout the day as far as depositions. A couple of things people wanted to ask, even though I think I talked about it, some questions still came up. What can Brian Friedman ask Blake? Anything goes. And she has to answer. She cannot necessarily plead the fifth. She has to answer every question as best as she can. If she can't, is understandable. If you like genuinely don't know the answer to something, her lawyer will be present as well. So her lawyer will be stepping in if they feel like, Brian Friedman is bordering questions that's like, client privilege or whatever, attorney-client privilege. Also, somebody said how long you would be. I believe 7 hours is the allotted time somebody can be in a deposition for. If they need more time, they can request for more time. Another question people had, what happens if she doesn't show up? We're making the joke she possibly wouldn't show up. She doesn't like get in trouble right away. As long as there is a valid reason, my kid is sick, whatever, and her lawyer files the proper documentation and reaches out to the waiver parties in time properly, they just reschedule. Like nothing bad, nothing crazy happens. It just becomes a rescheduling problem. Now, if that becomes a little too iffy and weird and sketchy, they go to the judge and the judge, puts his foot down. So if she misses it, it's not the end of the world. She doesn't get picked up and, go to jail, nothing. It just gets rescheduled, but it would say a lot, right? I'm trying to think of one more that I got. Yes, and a lot of people were asking, is Megan Twohey going to be subpoenaed? I believe Megan Twohey is on the witness list, so she will be deposed. And hopefully Brian Friedman will ask about this or ask Blake about her. But I saw this comment from a retired stenographer that I think it's important and it can shed some light and maybe give more information to people who need more information. So the comment says, a retired stenographer here worked with Ellen and 2 other partners of Brian's, never Brian, as they weren't a firm yet. There will more than likely be a volume 2 due to those swift text messages Blake has to hand over and hasn't yet. So there can be a second round of depositions, is what she's saying, if need be. Like if Brian Friedman holds the deposition today, he will ask the questions about what he thinks he needs right now. If something comes out later after they receive, discovery and he needs to question her again, he just has to go through the proper channels, schedule another deposition with her. She shows up to it. I imagine Friedman will use the seating to get info he needs to fill in pieces of his puzzle that need answers. I hope the stenographer hired for this deposition is a seasoned tyrant and puts a kibosh on Blake's antics. This is our record, and we are the officer of the court in all the positions. We run the show. P.S. I was definitely absolutely a seasoned tyrant. The fights I would get into with counsel. So people were asking, are we going to get to see it? Is it going to be on record? I believe I said that in my video, but in case I didn't, everything that happens in a deposition, think of it as though she was actually in court in front of a judge, in front of a jury. It's almost as though you were there, just there's no jury watching you and there are no witnesses, and it could be recorded. Brian Friedman can set a camera up to record for his uses, for his purposes, but like a stenographer will be there to record every sigh, every cough, every hum, every every huff, every puff will be on record. Anything goes. I don't know if stenographers record touching their hair and hand gestures. I can imagine Brian Friedman starving us of possibly seeing that deposition in the future. So I'm sure he will set up a nice little camera that will get all her angles. So I hope that answers a lot of the questions people had on depositions. Let me see if I have a couple more. A couple of people were also asking if this will be virtual, like a Zoom type thing, or will Brian Friedman be in attendance? I cannot imagine a world where Brian Friedman allows Blake Lively to do this deposition from the comforts behind a camera where she doesn't have to feel the heat coming off of Brian. I cannot imagine him giving her that courtesy. I imagine that man was on a plane as late as yesterday, landed, slept comfortably in his hotel bed, hotel suite, room cool as hell, and waking up crisp and ready to go. I cannot imagine that he would allow her to do this from the comfort behind her Ugg boots and a good latte at home. No, sit in a conference room and sweat that shit out. I hope that covers that. And people were asking if now, we have malice now, even if we did. And I don't know that we do. I'm not a lawyer. The interview clearly shows malice, but I don't know that malice in our head is malice in court, in the law. You know what I mean? And people are also asking if Brian and Justin can now sue Megan Twohey. I don't know. Maybe. But she's still going to use the protection of she was working off of the information Blake gave her, even though we know now from this interview that Megan Twohey gave. Not only did they just not write the article based on text messages that Blake gave, they actually sat with her, they interviewed her, they talked to her. So where is everything else she said? Because if you're saying she told you this was not the worst she experienced and she came forward because of A, B, C, and D, and it wasn't even, you talk to her. You talk to her more. I want to see that transcript. I want that interview. Give me that. Not this snippet of a synopsis or whatever you talked about and this word salad of a article about somebody burying somebody, which we all know is caca. So yeah, somebody should sue Megan Twohey. I just don't know how well it will hold because she's covered under the protection of the New York Times, aka the CIA. It's a lot. It's a lot to cover there. So I don't know. I don't know if it's even worth the trouble for Justin. All right. I think that's going to be it because my eyes are starting to roll. And it's like, girl, go back to bed. You can probably see the bags under my eye because I had to get this video out of the way before you all woke up in the morning. Today's also a really big day for the Wayfair parties in general because they have to turn in the amended complaints today. And then there's depositions. And then there's a hearing tomorrow with another party. It's kind of a big week for everybody in general, but for the Wayfair parties. So let's talk when you guys wake up and see this. Leave me all your other comments and suggestions and your predictions in the comments. To cap it off, Ari Shapiro is not married to the Michael Gottlieb of, House Lively lawyer. Completely different man. Just weird coincidence that they share a name. Oh, Lord of mercy. I'm going to bed because I'm starting to ramble now. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Like, share, all that. You know what to do. All right. Good night or good morning, depending on where you are. I'll see you. Will I see you? I don't know. Why am I still talking? Good night. Bye-bye. Depending on the information we get, though, before I go about the positions or whatever, maybe I'll catch you guys on a live around 4:15 p.m. Don't hold me to it, though. If we get information about the positions, yes. But if not, I don't know. So, all right. Okay. Au revoir.